All right, this is how we did this the first time, and we should do this every time, is we're going to start with a very quick bingo update for those who just want an update and don't want to listen to a podcast. Today is Black Friday, day after Thanksgiving. As of now, bingo's been transferred from UMC to another brain trauma rehabilitation facility. It's a smaller facility, very weird and very quiet. Creepy, but nice. She's got a big room with a second bed, so when we have to do night shift, she's off all of her tubes now. She's got a trach hole that she can talk through, her blowhole.
That's to help her breathe better, right?
Well, she's got some vocal cord damage. There's a lot of shit. I'm not a doctor, so we don't really know. Chad and I met one doctor once, and she's had a lot, and I don't have any idea who's in charge.
She had 4 on the shift yesterday when I was there during the day. 4 different doctors from the night when I dropped you guys off to when I picked you up in the morning. 4 different people came in and said, "So how's it going?" And they weren't just nurses doing stuff. They were doctors going, "Squeeze my fingers. How's this
they
going?"
have shift doctors,
Sure.
and I don't.
It's a lot to manage.
Okay, here's the thing: Chad, Tracey, and Jenny. I think just the 4 of us have been doing night shift, so we're just watching her through. I figured out I've done 67 hours in 5 days of only graveyard, 9 to 9s. One day I did noon. I started on a Sunday from noon to like 7 in the morning. So yeah, we don't get to hear. Someone comes in and says, "I have to do blood work."
We turn them away.
Chad was working the door. Okay, we'll get into the details
you gotta
later.
definitely get into
Here's
that.
what bingo's right now. She is alert. She is aware. She can talk. Not all of it makes sense. She's still confused. She doesn't. We don't know how much she remembers. We're not having conversations. Like she'll talk in spells. We don't know. She called
Anything positive, it seems like a milestone because we don't know how far that's going to continue. She squeezes your hand. You're like, "Wow!" And then she says a couple words, even though she trails off. It's like she can still speak. I mean, that's from the last time we did the podcast.
Now she has the trach. You put a finger over the blowhole, and she can make a sentence. And she can eat solid food now, but she can't have liquids because she's aspirating, which means, Jenny, go ahead, explain aspirating for the people. That's aspirating. What evidently.
So shit goes in your lungs when you try to swallow.
Yeah, she swallows, and whatever it's the vocal cords or something are not closing right or opening right.
This is I figure that it might make me throw up talking about it, but when you have the tracheotomy, like your control center is shifted to where, like, when you're gonna drink something or you're gonna breathe in, your brain knows how to handle it. But when you have a tracheotomy, everything's moved down to the middle of your throat for breathing, and that's what I think is aspirating.
It's like how your epiglottis, like how it closes. So now you don't have that.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
So
that's the AB
it's
switch.
Like that channel that
Yeah.
switches, exactly.
Well,
so now you don't have that to assist, and so it's basically open. So now when she's drinking liquids, what's happening is then it's going into the lungs instead of into the abdomen.
And
stomach.
she doesn't react to it. She doesn't have like waterboarding. Oh, she's the perfect ISIS candidate. She can't get waterboarded.
She'll never talk.
Amy Bingo Loophole Bingaman figured it out.
Dick Cheney just went, "Oh, Bingaman."
She's getting a lot of our old jokes. We don't know how much memory she has. She's one day they come in and say there's a couple different things going on. She's got this trach thing, which is serious because if her vocal cords don't heal right, they're talking that she could be on a trach for life. And then other doctors are going, who told you that? So we have no idea. We're night shift guys now. We don't get any of the information. And when I do, I'm too overtired to process it, or they tell me in such thick medical vernacular that I have no idea what they're talking about, and I tune out. So she's got the brain injury. She had C. diff. I think that's recent since the last podcast. She got C. diff, which is some super bacteria that's in. They treat with fecal transplants if it gets desperate. I don't think it's an issue anymore. But since
we're not treating it like it is.
Oh yeah, we don't take all the precautions.
It's great what they'll tell you, like what you have to do to be safe and to keep yourself safe and everything. But then you watch the people that actually work there and what they do. Like, that's not what anybody
Window
told
dressing.
us. Yeah, absolutely.
All right, so Bingo, she can talk. She's very confused all the time. Her memory lasts minutes at best. I mean, like if you tell her you got to do physical therapy now, and
Like
then,
focus.
then she starts to wander off towards the water bubbler because she can't drink, and that's just heartbreaking. Where she'll just walk around trying to grab like saline solution to
No,
drink.
the foam, the
Purell?
alcohol foam, the Purell thing. Tracy's like, she's like, oh my God, don't let her see you work that thing where you put your fingers under
Yeah.
it and it squirts out an amount. She goes, don't let her see you do that. I go, what for? She goes, she doesn't know how it works. She keeps tapping that little tray underneath to get the stuff that falls.
Yeah.
She doesn't know how it works. And I go, well, who cares? Doesn't she want to clean her hands? She's trying to drink it.
Yeah, she's trying. She was poking at the IV bag. She's no longer on an IV bag, but the bag of solution that
Looks like
hangs
water.
off the pole, the post. She's poking at that, trying to figure, and then poking at the tube that runs out of it, trying to like get to the bottom. She could suckle it or something. It's really fucking heartbreaking. You go, baby, you just can't drink. It'll go into your lungs. I don't care.
I think that's like the other day we were feeding her breakfast, and you had like the whole fucking buffet of everything they had and that she would eat, and she just wanted fruit, and that's why I was like, because it's the closest thing to getting
Sugar
a
and water,
drink,
yeah.
right? That's the most
it's-
juicy thing. So
I was
felt
trying
bad.
to get watermelon, and her mother goes, that's too much liquid. I don't know why she can eat solid food, and that wouldn't go into her lungs, but she can't drink. But again, we're not doctors. We're night shift. We're
We're not.
Wait, we're not doctors.
we're the disorderlies. Oh, by the way, Robin, I talked to him before he went to bed. He came into town. He's all up for. He said we should take her on some ventures out on some errands and stuff. And I go, I already talked about that last night. I wanted to hijack her because if we don't ask the hospital, they didn't tell us. Oh, by the way, don't take her out of this institution and drive her around town and do weird shit.
We still got the blue wig. We could put Brooke or Kelly.
No, we can't fuck with her like that. That brings up a lot of
No, put her in.
Put 'em in the
one of
bed,
them in
so
bed.
they don't know we took her.
Turn her over. They look like,
Oh, like-
looks like she's sleeping.
like Escape from
Escape from
Alcatraz.
Clint Eastwood. I mean, do you want me to make a paper mache face?
Do you have a? We gotta get. We'll be back at like a dry cleaner has with the hour clock. Sorry, we stepped out. Back at 2:30 on her room door. So she's walking and she can talk. Her memory is, we don't know. In the morning they'll do their rounds and they'll ask her like basic. Okay, what's your name? Do you know where you are? Do you know what day of the week it is? Which we never know. Like, if it weren't for Thanksgiving and football, and I don't even watch football anymore.
Thanksgiving only because the bar was closed at the hotel.
Kelly, you jump over here. Have a seat. No, let her sit there. We're just doing a quick update of what's going on now. Do you know anything that happened with the doctors today? I'm like, we're just saying that she can walk, she can talk. Don't know how good her memory is on a lot of things. She called me Gino a couple days ago. She called Chad Carlos. She gets confused.
That was early. She
That was
didn't
a week
confu-
in
yeah,
the
she
last
didn't.
week.
She didn't get confused about who I was after that time at all.
Yeah,
though.
but that was in the
But
last
that was
5
after the
days.
last
Yeah.
podcast, which is what we're just
Yeah,
recapping.
yeah.
So she definitely doesn't want this feeding tube in. She wants it taken out, but we can't take it out because that's where she's getting all of her meds and her hydration.
Food.
They have to plunge it all down with a big syringe into her.
They took the IV out to central. Everything goes through that now. She
Oh,
no
and by the
longer
way,
has
the
an IV.
feeding tube goes through the nose into the stomach, and then it just dangles for about 6 or 8 inches. We have it clipped up into
Now
her
it's
hair.
a foot. It's a longer feeding tube, the new one today.
Oh,
So it's
Jesus.
dangling. You have to loop it in her hair a few times.
And I think they only did the IV yesterday temporarily to get her something.
No, they didn't have to.
Oh, they
no
didn't?
IV.
Okay.
Okay.
All
And
right.
actually, the feeding tube is only for fluids right now. They rarely put any medication in it now. So it's just fluids.
And
Right
food.
on.
No food. 'cause
No
she's-
food.
She's eating enough in the daytime. We're checking her calories and what she's eating. She hasn't had feeding at nighttime.
Well, and that's the criteria to get her out of the feeding tube.
Well, I don't know. There's an
one of
issue.
them.
Yeah,
Right,
there's an
right.
issue with the hydration, but also just with the swallowing. So even if we can get ice chips and Jello in her and get hydration another way, I think they're still worried about the swallowing in case something happened.
I use
think-
club soda with my vodka for the hydration. Okay.
That works too.
By the way, if you didn't want to listen to a whole podcast, fuck you.
Well, this is the update. There's 2 issues here. I don't know what doctors are doing what. There's the brain, which I don't even think they're even worried about yet. This is about getting her to
We're just
breathe.
getting basics.
Yeah, get off the feeding tube, get the
Yeah.
trach hopefully out.
Yeah.
Yeah, rehab's not happening yet.
Well,
There's
they,
like
they
some
do
me-
they kinda
Physical
do-
therapy.
Well, that's
Yeah, it's
motor
speech
skills.
therapy. Yeah.
But rehab is going to be, hopefully not, but like learning how to do things that she used to be able to do.
Well, physical
But we don't
therapy-
know yet.
Yeah.
Like this morning, when we were leaving, they had the lady in there that was, okay, it's children's shit. Here's 15 pictures. What's this? A washing machine? Oh, she got 13 out of 15. She was very proud of Bingo. Bingo couldn't recognize a rug, a drawing of a rug, and a dresser. She didn't get. And she said, but she did get a floppy disk, and I'm like, really? And she goes, the only 2 she couldn't get. I go, maybe they were just shitty pictures, and maybe you asked such stupid questions. She's just embarrassed to answer. She's so irritated that you're talking to her like a child. Like, what color is this, honey? Like, her brain's there. She's just really fucking pissed off because her brain's coming back.
Well, and also on a day-to-day basis, her head fucks with her more than other people know, and she has to control that.
All right, we'll
And
get
now
into.
she doesn't have the
we'll
ability
get into
to control that.
That's
And
a whole
some of
nother-
the-
Yeah,
Yeah.
psychotic episodes.
Yeah.
We'll get into that. But okay, I don't know what other questions people would have.
That would be the update, I guess.
Yeah, that's the update. We have no timeline, do we, Kelly, that we know of?
Oh, no.
No.
We're just taking it day by day.
Yeah,
No timeline.
We got a week here at the Airbnb.
yeah. We got a week left here, and then we'll
That's
see
a
who's.
timeline.
Yeah. That's the only timeline we have.
This
Yeah.
place is
Oh, I
nice.
saw there's a calendar on the table, of when people are coming from out of town to
Yeah.
help out. It's
Yeah.
that's beautiful, man.
Yeah, I got to get off night shift. I can't handle this anymore.
You won't be able to do day shift though. You got to stay on night shift. Day shift is people in and out of there all day
No,
long.
that's
you'd have to
that's
deal
the thing
with.
we didn't talk about is like how Doug comes. I was editing a podcast last night, and I'm in the waiting room by the aquarium where all the fish are asleep, and like everyone's asleep. No one's up. The 3 or 4 people that are on staff are happy to get us coffee because there was no coffee out, and you're like, this is so awesome. There's no one here, and it's all brain trauma, so no one's talking anyway.
It is the most silent. I even went outside to smoke. I did a 3-minute periscope of just how deadly quiet it was last night. All right, I guess we're going into the podcast now. That's the update. So we're going into. Let's talk about some shit. Wait, Kelly, is there any other updates from today?
Gee, she just hates that new feeding tube.
What about the gum though? Has she given up that?
No, well, I was only there for like 2.5 hours at lunchtime. She never said anything about the gum because she was so pissed off with the feeding tube. I mean, it was like a child. It was nonstop. You had to have your eyes on her every second.
History of the gum is
Well, this morning was the best we've ever seen her, and last night was great.
Yeah.
We got there for night shift around 8:30, and she had Kelly. By the way, I'm here with Chad Shank and his wife Jenny Chaille, his wife Mrs. Chaille, Tracey Chaille,
bartender Tracey.
and Bingo's sister Kelly from one of my favorite podcasts of all time. Very early on, the Pillow Talk podcast.
My first podcast.
Oh, that was your
Yes.
yes. Audio's not so great because we had to whisper because we were in a thin-walled no-tell motel. But that was one of the best podcasts ever. Jesus, we're gonna. I guess we have to do what we're talking about and then move backwards.
Oh, yeah, I
through
don't know
time.
which way you want to go.
Last night, you guys had like combed out her hair, put a flower in it. She's all dressed up. She's wearing street clothes now in this new facility. Not the backless Johnny. She knows how to, I think we have to go back to.
But it is a 2-bed room that there's only her in there, and there's a shower and a bathroom and everything. I mean, there's enough of a facility there where everything can happen right there, and you guys can kick back a little bit. You don't sleep, I know that, but it's a little bit more comfortable than if there was someone going, nurse. Like
All
some
right, then let's
old
go
person.
back to
Yeah.
let's go back to the beginning of night shift.
That's what I was going to say. I know that time is an objective thing at this point, but if we try to go backwards, we're going to fucking all be
No,
confused.
It starts with night shift. I started on Sunday. I've had a couple of strong benders on this, where you just there was
Quit looking at me.
for a while. It will get to you
I'm
and
sure.
you.
I don't even know what that meant when
Yeah,
he looked at me and said,
I know what it
and you.
means.
I don't know.
I'm afraid I'm going to find out.
There, for all of the levity we put into this and trying to make fun, there is. Oh yeah, if you go ahead, whisper. It doesn't matter. Whisper more quietly than the coyotes have been howling, and you'll be fine. Been a couple of strong benders, 2 that I know of. Where you go, all right, I'm falling apart. Fuck this. We're drinking hard. The first one was at that bar called Dirt Bags. It was right across from the hotel when we were at the
wow.
other hospital. And I was tits up. I remember I was going to start a goddamn comedy night there just so I could do comedy because it had this outdoor smoking patio.
Same night as the night we left. We did the last podcast.
Yes.
It was later that night.
Carried it on.
Oh my God! Yeah.
And the next day, I woke up with contrition, and I sobered up, and I started talking shit. We have this app thing that we can all the inside circle can talk to one another, like who can cover what shift, how's she doing now? Hey, I'm flying back on the 5th, this and that. And I said, listen, if you can get me out of tonight, I'll come in tomorrow morning on Sunday. And I drove 34 hours once from Madison, Wisconsin to Bisbee, Arizona without sleep. I can do that in a hospital room. You guys take Sunday off, get your shit done, because Kelly and Mom have just been was it Brooke at that point?
Brooke.
Yeah, it was Brooke.
Yeah, it
She
was
was
Brooke.
Yeah.
And Kate Clabby, they were doing the night shifts, and I go, I can do
Rosie.
the full thing. Everyone just take the day off. I'll be there the whole time. I got there at noon. I made it till about, I think, 7 the next morning when I finally like tapped out and I called someone like, all right, yeah, I'm done. But then I'm doing night shift every night. And then
Well,
Chad,
that must have been the night at about 2 in the morning when you texted me and said, "Come up and do a night shift with me, tonight." And that means, I guess. That
Yeah, it
means
was
tonight.
1:28 in the morning.
I woke up Monday morning. I was like, I gotta go tonight to Tucson.
Did you mean Tuesday? Or was I supposed to be there yesterday?
Yeah. Jenny was on night shift for years at the hospital, so I know if somebody's working night shift, you can't use subjective terms like today or tomorrow or anything like that. That doesn't mean anything anymore. So,
well, at that point, Bingo had just been trached, but it was with the apparatus on it, so she could only mouth words. So if it started with an M, you'd get, I know you said something that starts with an M. But I have no idea what you're saying. Can you point? She's delirious. She's in and out of consciousness, but always poking and fiddling and pulling at tubes. So, yeah, we started the night shift. And I think it seemed like it went, day in, day out where, I don't know.
I got here. You did, because that was, you went overnight by yourself that Sunday night.
Yeah.
And then I got here Monday afternoon. Did you sleep Monday during the day?
Slept a bit. Yeah, I never did what you did. You did the 2 nights where you did one.
We did.
We were doing 12-hour shifts. We're
yeah.
doing 9 to 9s.
Yeah, we did all Monday night.
Unless we panic and call Kelly at 7 and go, I can't take it anymore. I'm losing patience. I'm going to punch her in the face.
Yeah, I did. I got a couple 6 o'clock
That
calls.
happened. But we went, Monday night, and then Monday morning when we left, we went back to go to sleep.
And this is when we're at the hospital in that ICU trauma unit where you have to, because she has this C. diff bacteria, so you have to put on smocks and rubber gloves every time you go in or out of the room. You have to strip down and then put on new ones when you come back in, and you can't touch stuff. But we have our own bar in there. We have our sneaky bar with our travel mugs and going down to the cafeteria to get ice. We would never get hammered or anything, but it was maintenance drinking.
Right, yeah, medicinal, definitely.
Sometimes just to take the spin off the Adderall.
What was great about having all of those precautions, I was nervous because I didn't know what to expect because, like I said, Jenny works at the hospital. So
and
she
those
has to go
hospital
through that.
smocks didn't fit you so well. You looked like the butcher of Black Knob.
Yeah, like that fucking yellow Kool-Aid man. It was fucking... But I was nervous about it because I was like, all right, I got to make sure I understand all of these rules. And then I get there, and there's not any rules. Stanhope is eating sushi in the room in his garb with his gloves on.
Rubber gloves and my smock on.
You're supposed to take your rubber gloves and your smock off and throw them in the trash at the door and then leave the room and wash up.
The biohazard bag.
Yeah, the biohazard bag, and then go wash up. But at the same time, Bingo wanted to go for walks, so we could take the whole patient zero outside. We can't go outside with our gloves and our little yellow suit on, which we did anyway when we took her out. So we took our suits and the patient out of the room and just walked around the entire place.
None
of it fucking makes any sense at all.
I was eating fucking cafeteria sushi off the top of a biohazard waste basket. I don't know which was more dangerous, the sushi or the C. diff virus. At one point, and then we'd forget. We'd do 12 hours. It was everyone would forget. You'd come back in. Like I'd go for cigarette breaks, and after 9 hours, you're so daffy and delirious. I came in once. That's back when she was shitting and pissing. They had Jenny, what do you call the thing? A chuck.
The chucks.
The chucks. It's like a giant.
It's a huge peri pad.
Yeah. It's a puppy pad. Yeah, so she's pissing and shitting in that. If she does piss in a toilet, you go, oh, it's a great day. And then our whole app blows up with everyone and emojis and stuff. Oh, that sounds like she's making great progress. I wiped an ass for my first time. She's just shitting lava slowly. She's on her side because she's not getting bed sores, but her ass is tired from a fucking week. She still has no idea how long she's been in there. We're not telling her. So she's on her side, and just this slow moving pile of lava is coming out of her ass. She's been only eating that bag of fucking Soylent Green that they have attached to her nose, so that's what it's coming out as. And I'm just, are you done pooping? And she shakes her head, no. Just more poop. And I'm trying to, obviously the weight of her body in the middle of the bed makes the chuck bend down, so the shit is rolling towards her. So I try to move her away, but then the shit still rolls. Again, I'm not Chad Shank. I don't have the strength to lift her. And I'm pressing the panic button, and more shit's coming out.
In more ways than one, he's pressing the panic button.
So I'm like wiping off the top cheek that had like touched it, but there's more shit, so I stop wiping. The guy finally comes in, and he's helping me roll it up. Like they have a system. You know, he does this every night, the orderly, and so you push her this way, and I'll clean this, and I'll roll it towards her, and then he sneaks the new chuck underneath, and so I'm watching the system, and I didn't even care about wiping an ass. It didn't bother me at all. Like everything else is so fucked to shit. I'm not even thinking, oh, that's where the bad bacteria is.
Maybe I should have gloved up.
Yeah.
So then she gets a little better to where she's actually getting up and can go to the bathroom by herself, a little more alert. And that's when we're working night shift, and she tells us she has to pee. And I go, do you want to get up? And she goes, no, I'm peeing. This is when she can talk a few days later. And I'm peeing, and I look down, and she's legs splayed. And I grab the chuck just in time so I can pull it up in front of her vagina because it's going to spray straight out. And I got the block back, so
a backstop.
Yeah, so it's not hitting the bed; it's just hitting the chuck and pooling up. And then the orderly comes in, and now I know the drill. I feel, we felt like we were kind of professionals at the end of this. So he gets her up. I start rolling it in. That was a chick that time.
Yeah.
And I start rolling the pad while Bingo, now she can get up.
She hopped right up on my side, held on to me.
Jumped up. I start rolling the thing. The girl says, the lady RN, whatever she was, she goes, did any of it get on the bed? And I go, I patted down the regular sheet, and I said, no, it seems dry. And Chad said, no, a little bit, get on there.
Well, she was already up, so we might as well change the whole thing.
Yeah, you're like, fuck that, it's her job.
Yeah.
No, there's a little bit on there. Like, change those fucking sheets.
Doug's like, we don't need any towel service at the hotels.
Yeah.
No, we're fine.
So I'm patting it down, going, I think it's dry. And the lady looks down at me, and she goes, Don't wipe that up with your bare hands. And I realized I'd just come back from a cigarette. I didn't bother with the smock and the rubber gloves. I forgot.
I figured it was like soaking into his hoodie,
the
the sleeve.
Well,
we're fine. I didn't see any.
At one point, when she was finally up and walking and could kind of communicate, and we were dancing, slow dancing, and we'd have like late night, dance parties and playing stuff on YouTube music, and she said, "Kiss me."
Yeah.
And she's leaning in with the tube hanging out of her nose, and the blowhole is fresh, and I'm sitting there in rubber gloves, and she, like, we're still worried about this super bacteria. Fucking,
we were super worried about it.
kills 29,000 people, and she's got her open mouth towards my face and all right, C diff or what? Break her heart? Fuck it. Let's go in for the kiss.
I figured you'd kiss the trach.
Well, there's a few times I'd kiss I'd kiss her forehead, but this time she was. Cocktail.
Sorry.
That's it. So yeah, none of us have gotten the virus. So.
No. We actually were worried that we did have it after the first day because when we compared notes later, we both had solid shits after night shift, which is unusual for both of us. And I was like, hey, wait a minute.
Yeah, I remember that.
Something's weird.
I said maybe the C diff is like Ritalin on a hyperactive child, where normally I have watery diarrhea shits, and now it's working against
The opposite effect.
Yeah.
Wow. That's scary.
Either way, at this point,
What did a doctor say?
I never talked to a doctor. So the next, I don't know what night it was, where you came back up.
Well, no. Well, the first night when we were here, first night I was here was the morning you had to leave in the morning to go meet up with Chaille to do radio.
Tuesday morning.
Tuesday morning, you had to go do radio spots.
Yeah, that was a bad idea.
We drank all night.
Well, the No Place Like Home, the special that went out on CISO, is now out on iTunes and
Google Play, Amazon, and
Spotify.
you can get Spotify, and you can get a signed copy at DougStanhope.com.
yeah, hard copies are available at the website. So I'm supposed to go promote this fucking thing, and I'm just coming out of that's Tuesday, so I did 19 hours from Sunday afternoon till Monday. Then we do 12 hours Monday night to Tuesday, where I have to go immediately into a radio junket. And a radio junket works where you just get on your phone and you have some chump fucking dunce from a PR or whatever.
Are you talking about Sophia?
Yeah,
She's
Sophia
really nice.
the fucking rat.
What? Oh, really?
Yeah, that
Oh,
thing I tweeted.
left. I left.
That's her fucking
Okay.
email.
All right.
Fucking rat cunt.
She was really nice at first.
Oh yeah, she was. And I go, listen, I'm going to be
Rat
playing
cunts
these.
are always nice at first.
But I was really drunk the whole time, and I left halfway through.
Oh, he was. Oh,
Oh no,
so,
no. Let's
so
focus
drunk.
on Sophia. Don't get distracted.
So I'm in a state where the family has been very positive through this, and all the people on the app have been very positive. Oh, she blinked her eyes. Sounds like it's gonna. Bingo's back, and you know, I don't. Like my wife might be a fucking half vegetable with a fucking blowhole for the rest of her life in a wheelchair. I don't know. And after 12 hours through the night, it's not like, it's just you and I. It's not like we're communicating. We're not having doctor conversations. It's night shift. Beep, beep, beep.
I got a good story about that. Do you remember whenever? Because we learned how to, if it says patient side occluded, I learned that you can hit restart
talking about
on the
some of the
IV,
electronics.
on the IV thing.
Yeah.
If it says on there, if it's beeping,
The monitoring
because
devices.
nobody comes and checks it. This was in the ICU when we were there. You can beep. Other people's would beep all night long.
you're like,
Nobody
just,
looks at
hey,
it.
wake
at
up,
all.
America.
I don't know what the purpose of the beeping is. It apparently doesn't mean you're dying of anything, but
and it reads what you just said.
patient side occluded, you could hit restart and it would stop the beeping. But one time we were sitting there and it said air in line, and I was like, oh, I don't know what that means. So
Sounds serious.
It
Yeah, I
sounds
was
like
like that-
train spotting. Like I know junkies. If there's
that's exactly what I thought of. I was like, that doesn't. I don't want to hit restart and be like, why did Bingo die? And I'm like, oh, because
Why is her chest
I just
heaving?
pushed that air through. Was that wrong? So
I'll get this air out of this line.
We called the chick to come, to come and look at it, but it takes them forever to come look at it because they're busy not looking at other beeping shit. And Bingo started to get fucking agitated as shit at the beeping, and she's telling me to make it stop, and I'm telling her, okay, well we will, but you know it's going. And the more and more agitated she gets, I'm like, I don't know what the fuck to do. So pretty soon it's beeping, and I just start going, once I ran to you, now I run from you. And Stanhope chant, this tainted love you give me. And she's dancing while it's beeping. I was just trying to fucking calm her down until we could get somebody to look at it.
I just come back from a singer and he goes, yeah, this won't stop, but I'm trying to sing Tainted Love to the beat of this. So good. God damn it, we had a lot of fun on night shift, and I mean, we walked out of there several mornings feeling like we just got done work, like we should have punched out. We're saying goodbye to nurses. We've been there so fucking long that
Like
we
coal
know
miners.
nurses, and we know.
Aside from having cocktails all night.
Well,
But that morning with the radio junket, I'm spent. And
Tuesday morning.
nothing matters. I've had a few points. Go ahead.
Well, you went there. You had to be there at 5:30. Was
Yeah.
what you. I have to be there and do this at 5:30.
I had to leave at 5:30 to be there at 6 a.m.
Right.
Not leave, just to be ready.
Yeah.
Because you were doing it in the car.
Well,
You were-
I'm sharing a room with the Chailles at the hotel. There's no place because I gotta yell and stuff or at least raise my voice.
Hour and a
I
half,
can't
2
do
hours?
I can't do a radio junket. Hey, Doug Stanhope's on the air with us right now. Hey, you get a new project you want to talk to us about? What are you promoting today? I have a new special. People are sleeping. Hold on. Kick like you kick. Let me get into the toilet so I can talk a little louder.
Then the fan goes on.
So I don't even I shouldn't have even done it, but I figured, you know what, I don't have an open mic. Let's burn some terrestrial radio bridges with all my fucking built up hate and fear and sadness. So I go, I'll just do it out of the fucking van. And so I sit in a fucking car in the back parking lot of the hotel. I got there early enough to make cocktails. The radio junket goes so the flunky, in this case, Sophia, you fucking cunt rat, she works for whatever radio, and they punch you through. Okay, you're going to do, it's 10 minutes at a time. Okay, now I'm going to put you through to Green Bay, and you're going to do fucking...
She's managing all the
AM
calls.
sports radio for 10 minutes and have no idea who you are, and you'll never sell a thing and no one listens to it, and you'll do 10 minutes there. Okay, you're done. Now we're going to go to Minneapolis where fucking Dave Mordahl is going to... oh, anyway, that fucking cunt. Oh, I get a lot of hate. Yeah, fuck that guy.
What?
Yes.
Okay, let's sidebar that. Finish with the radio junket.
So I have to do like 10 of these stations in a row. So it's an hour and a half. I have to sit in a Suburban. I got my cocktails ready. I'm burnt. I'm beat. I'm soul bare. And at 6:02, I'm looking at the dashboard clock. I'm smoking cigarettes. I go, 6:02, they haven't called yet. Fuck the whole tour, I'm thinking in my head. And then I start thinking, oh, shit. Daylight savings time.
Yeah.
We had just, the rest of the country had just done daylight savings time, but they don't do it in Arizona. So, yeah, I've been preoccupied over the weeks. I forget, oh, wait, it's 9 a.m. Eastern is now 7 a.m., so I'm all geared up, running from the hospital, get all my shit together. Chaille's drunk as shit. No, I'm going to sit here with you, and I'm going to help you, and I'm going to talk you through this.
Come on.
You were, I know, you were
I did
trying
not
your
try
best.
to say help, but
Point being,
I wanted to sit there in misery with you.
I have to wait an hour. I lose steam. All the sadness and depression are there, but all the angst that would. So at 7 we start, and I'm in the Suburban. Now the sun's coming up in our eyes, and I just start poorly. And I tell this Sophie girl that has to punch me through, do you have to listen to all these? And she goes, yep. So I go, I'll try to, like, this is not going to be good, but I'll try to change him up for you. I'm playing to this girl.
You're playing to the person that goes to your show 3 nights in a row, and they sit in the front. You're like, motherfucker.
Yeah.
You got to make it
Now I
different.
have to do other material rather than the stuff the audience would like. Anyway, so I'm not promoting this fucking album. You know, none of your, I go, anyone who's sitting, actually listening to terrestrial radio still, they're not going to want to hear any of this. My fucking wife's in a coma. Just going, you think I give a shit about selling product? I'm worried about is my girlfriend going to be more retarded than she used to be? I'm just.
I do remember you talking about that. Like that came up.
At one point, Chaille's, I'd tell him some stuff. I go, hey, remind me, like, I got to hit this beat. Like, she still doesn't know that Trump is president, and she still doesn't. I had some funny stuff about that. How we're gonna, we can't wait till she's coherent enough that we can get a videotape of when we finally tell her Trump is president, and just to see the look on her face when we're, you're fucking with me. No, we're not. But so I'd say, for instance, hey, Chaille, write down Trump on one of the Post-its between stations. Put that down because I forget to do the Trump thing. And he has these Post-its, but they won't stick on the dashboard, so they keep falling. And it was like Commonwealth Money Management or something. It was some...
Someone sent us a bunch of stuff to the Funhouse. And that was one of them.
It was ad specs, advertising specialties, Post-it notes with their company name. So one of the radio stations, all I did was trash Commonwealth Money Management for having
Post-it
shitty
notes
Post-it notes. I was just going on tilt. I didn't promote anything. Some of them I was just being an asshole. Then I'd forget and I'd start swearing, and then they go, wait, hey, gonna hit the 5-second delay on that. Really? These radio stations still exist? I don't know.
The best is when you would say something about your girlfriend being in a coma, and they just what? And then you bust them on. This is. Do you even know me? This is Wikipedia knowledge.
Oh, well, hang on. I'm building up to that one.
I'm sorry. I didn't.
There were two of them that...
I made it for 3, and then I left.
Two of the 10 stations said, hey, we were looking at your Twitter feed. You wrote down, hey, I'm going to have to quit drinking for a couple of days. Had a long night. Going to quit drinking for a couple of days. How's that working out for you? Well, if you looked at my Twitter feed, you'd also know that my wife was in a fucking coma. Because there's lots of my wife is in a coma jokes, but you focused on how's that quitting drinking working out for you? And I'd go, well, yeah, because I had to, because I've been working, I've been doing night shift while my wife is in a coma. And then you let it hang, and then they go, and then I'd just go into some details, and they go, you're not kidding, are you? They lose their radio voice. Nope, not kidding. And then just unleash all my fucking angst and awfulness.
Oh my God, I just remembered something. The last one.
Oh yeah, no, I'm building up to the last one.
But I have been repressing so many memories from those like 36 hours. That stuff. It took me 24 hours just to start feeling guilty about things that I thought happened. And then now I just fucking remembered your last one. And that was Tuesday at 10 in the morning. I just got that memory back. I can't wait to hear the actual details, because in my head, they're different.
Well, yeah, some of them were, some stations were friends, so they let me roll. Then I'm overtime, so the next station... There's one, I'm already over time, and now I'm sitting there listening to Aerosmith. Okay, and I have to hear a half an Aerosmith song before I'm on, going, now we're late for the next one. And I'm just blast through that. There was Dave Mordahl, some Minneapolis station where Dave Mordahl does call-ins. He's like he's the Jim Norton of the thing, or what Norton used to be for O&A when O&A were O&A. He does color commentary from home. So not only is there this delay, when you do phoners, they suck shit anyway, and I refuse to do them unless it's contractually obligated with the record company. So I have to do these. But there's a delay, so it's not like this where I can see you and you're about to talk and you wave and go, oh, I get a story, and there's no cohesiveness. And so you'll say something, and a lot of times you can hear it kind of repeat in a quick echo, and then they start talking and you talk back, but you're overlapping. And then they have Dave Mordahl on this other line with a delay. And
So it's a three-way. You got a three-way conversation going on, and no one is looking at each other.
Yeah, so at that one I said, hey, all right, why don't you guys just not talk? I'm just going to talk to Dave Mordahl. I'll tell you exactly what's going on with my life. And I just throw down this whole gauntlet of all the shit that's happened in the last 2 weeks of I don't know what's going on, and this is fucked, and they might have to carve a blowhole in her neck, and God knows if she can ever speak again, whatever. And then it just went south, and like then they're kind of shitting on me like, you're the guys with the fucked up connection because you have some guy that's 300 miles away as your fucking sidekick. So now none of this works, and you're talking to me like I'm a dick. Go fuck yourself.
None of you are funny enough that you got to import a guy who can't drive in
from fucking Thief River Falls, wherever he lives. Anyway, so the last station. Now I'm spent, and now I've had an hour and a half of bourbon cokes,
and I'm back in the car. Because I left.
Oh, that's right. You left me. And you said, I'll be right back. I have to piss.
There was no way I was coming back.
So I'm waiting for you because I don't have a key to get into the room. Speaking of pissing.
Finish this. And we'll take a break.
No, I really have to piss.
All right.
Hang on.
In the middle of this story, you're going to fucking leave?
You'll
It won't interrupt anything.
Does it tell him why did you leave me?
No, I'm not. We'll take a break. We'll take a break.
Hey, faggots, listen. We have merch. We have a donation button. And I don't like to ask you to do that, but we just got some fucking numbers where we could actually do some advertising. And I don't want to do it. But Chaille could actually make really good money if I start doing advertising. I'd rather you buy some merch or donate when I say that. Because I hate to be the guy that says, you know what, I'm going to turn down that money. I would not even take. That would be for Chaille. We just get drunk and talk into microphones. This is not like this is a lot out of my day. But we got to keep fucking Chaille in business. Buy merch or else. Stamps. What? And now back to the podcast, as I'm saying.
Walk right in, head right down, and then let your mind roll on.
I like biscuits and mustard. I also like the Doug Stanhope podcast.
You were going into
All right, sorry, the pee break. Yeah, at some point you left me and said, I'm going to piss, I'll be right back.
from the radio junket.
Yeah, and you have the key, so then I have to piss. So I'm doing this by cell phone, but I don't have a key, and then I did find a key, and finally, it's the second to last show. It's Fresno. I go, all right, and we're going straight into them because we're already behind. So I'm running between stations. I run in to the hotel. I did find a key, and I'm like, hey, Fresno, sorry. Someone had to be here while I was pissing because I'm pissing in the toilet rather than the urinal, just for sound effect.
Yeah.
While you're on the radio?
And when I hold a piss, it's legendarily long. My bladder has some Guinness Book strength.
Like you will yawn during his urination in the morning.
I'm peeing, and I told him, hey, I'm sorry, but I'm peeing through this. So I did I go, someone had to be, I've been doing an hour and a half radio junket drinking bourbon and cokes. I'm going to have to pee. And you're a market that I will never do well in.
That's right.
Fresno, you ever play Fresno? That's where like Gabriel Iglesias will pack out a fucking rodeo or, the fluffy guy or something. He's a very nice guy, I'm sure. But, it's not a market I care about. So I just did this extended piss during this interview. Now I'm really falling apart. I go into the last interview, and I'm spent, and it's L.A.
Back in the car.
L.A. radio is actually the worst radio in that people in L.A. should not be listening to radio. If you live in Fresno or Wilkes-Barre, PA, and maybe even actually call that guy for a long-distance dedication still, I don't know how it works. But if you're in L.A. and you're listening to terrestrial radio, you're not coming to my shows.
You're homeless.
Yeah. You're housekeeping. You're
with headphones that aren't plugged in.
It's like if you lived in LA and you had to get one of those boxes when antennas were no longer going to work to get your channel 3, 4, 11 and UHF. So now I'm kind of like this. I'm punchy like this, and they go, "Hey, well, I'm sorry. Well, I'm glad to have you on. I know you only have a limited amount of time." And I sat back, slumped in my passenger seat with my last drink, and I go, "Oh no, I get all the time in the world. You're the last station. I'm gonna unleash everything on you. I'll do hours." And at first, they're kind of like, "Oh, that's great. You can stay as long as you want."
You did say, this is the last one. We can go forever. You made that like that claim is like, we'll go on as long as you want because I'm not hanging up. Basically,
I'm not done talking. And they seemed happy at the thought at first, and then the guy talked. It's one of those guy and girls.
That's right.
It's right. I think it's 100.3, and if you're old enough, you can kind of tell by the number.
Is that Kiss?
It's a light FM kind of shit. I'm assuming. If it's 97 or 93, it's probably rock. Or 107 is rock. But if it's
if it's in between those two, it's adult contemporary or it's smooth jazz.
If
or
it's 88, it's
yeah.
NPR or some weird religious shit. So I don't know what it is at the time. It wasn't until it went poorly. But the guy talked and he goes, "So you know what? We're big fans of you." And I said, "You don't know anything about me that you didn't read on a Wikipedia page." And the guy says, "You might be wrong on that. I know that you like to go to Aspen a lot. I used to live in Aspen." I go, "The Aspen Comedy Festival has not been in existence for 17 years, and I was at 2 of them, and it's on my Wikipedia page, and that's the only way you'd know it." So we get off on the wrong foot.
When he proved you right.
Yeah. Okay. So then she tries to make it right, and then I'm going off, and we heard about bingo. She knows. It turns out she had followed me on Twitter. Gina Grad was her
co-host. The co-host knew more.
Yeah, but
he just wanted to relate the Aspen thing.
Yeah, so I wish I had a tape.
You planned
of it.
that out for hours.
We're buddies.
Yeah, I wish if anyone has tape of that, which no one does, they don't even. Oh, we can't afford tape. They cut that out of our budget. We can't even call ourselves FM anymore. We can't afford. We just go with M.
Do you much that it costs?
Yeah. So, and then she tried to make it good at some point. And then I go, "Let's just talk without that dude." Just dismissed him from the conversation.
Talk without that dude.
And then he compared me to Bill Hicks to get back in.
Fuck, that's right.
And I just...
Wait, he did that as an attempt to get back in your good graces?
You're like...
That's hilarious.
Yeah, you're like the Bill... Because this is the comedy we expect from you, because you're like the Bill Hicks, and now it's just hit a button so wrong. And fuck Bill Hicks. I didn't use bad language, but I'm like, Bill Hicks What?
Andy and Gina in the morning, 100.3.
Yeah.
That's it. Yeah. The sound, 100.3. The sound.
Yeah, this is why you were checked out of the Suburban, right? When I get ramped
Yeah.
up. I would get I'm on the radio, and the posters that did stick on the dashboard, I'd be talking, and he'd start pointing at one where I'm in a loop, like, of what's going on in my life, and then he starts pointing at a thing and distracts me completely. So he says, I'm like Bill Hicks, and I'm like, fuck Bill Hicks. That guy he never said a single thing about his personal self. He never gave you he had a lot of opinions that might have, if he didn't die, he had enough opinions that might have got him on to Air America with his own show, but it's nothing personal. Or I said, I'm the goatsy guy of comedy. I show you everything. I empty my fucking bowels. You can see up my ass. What did that guy had? He died he's 32 anyway. What did he even know? Like, what was it? Did he have a girlfriend? Did he have he had nothing in his act. He got cancer, and he kept that secret. He didn't even do bits about the cancer he died from. How dare you call me Bill Hicks? I'm sitting there trying to work out my wife's in a coma jokes while she's in a coma. On the air, you fucking call me Bill Hicks. And then as I'm ending this tirade, I realize I'm talking over them, speed talking me off the air. At the end of that, they're going, well, so Doug Stanhope's new special is available. As I'm still talking, and I realize you're gonna bum rush me off the air.
They potted you down,
And
you weren't even on at that point.
Yeah,
There's no way.
So I yelled as before, trying to get it in before they could get me off the air. I go, eat a pie, faggots.
That's right.
You know when you're trying to yell something really quick at someone, that's speeding through your neighborhood, and you go, hey, fuck, Clowny, fuck. You got nothing.
I'm totally stealing eat pie faggots because I'll go to like racist stuff, and I'm not really racist. I'll just try to say something mean, but eat pie faggots.
Eat a pie,
is nice.
faggots.
No, that's directed. That's directed towards morning radio.
Give me that. So
Host and co-host.
Well,
That's fantastic.
this is a portion of the email that Sophie the rat that ran the junket.
What?
Oh, that's why she's a rat.
So she sent an email to the Comedy Dynamics that put out my new special, No Place Like Home, is now out on audio. The full DVD will be available early February, I think.
February 17th.
All right.
But right now you can get the audio CD at DougStanhope.com signed. Or you can get it on Amazon audio or streaming. You get the CD, Google Play.
And maybe as well as signed, we could get one like we did with Baby Arm Joe. We could get the ink pad and go to the hospital and get Bingo's thumbprint on all of them.
Oh, yeah.
Since she can't really
Her
write
Tracey
well yet.
$10 extra for C. diff CDs.
C-diff CD.
Only touch this disc with gloved hands.
That's what CD stands for.
What are you going to read there, Doug?
This is what Sophie wrote to Comedy
Sophie the
Dynamics
rat.
that they forwarded to Brian Hennigan.
Sophie, who was in charge of like managing the entire junket.
She was like the old phone operators where she took the
Pittsburgh 199.
yeah.
Go
click.
ahead.
Yeah, she put
Lily Tomlin.
Yes,
on,
that's what I
yeah.
was looking for. She wrote, that was an interesting hour. Some stations went a little long because he wouldn't stop rambling. Then other stations cut him short because he was being rude. He was cussing during KLXPX interview. He peed while on the phone with KKBZ. And during the very last interview with KSWD, he was yelling at them because they didn't, quote, didn't know anything about him other than Wikipedia. Which you shouldn't put in quotes. I wouldn't have said, you don't know anything about him. All right, so you don't even know how to...
She's a dumb rat.
Because they didn't know anything about him other than Wikipedia, and they cut it short, and he said, bye, faggots. No, I said, eat a pie, faggot.
That's a problem.
Chinese telephone.
When you say something really, really worth retelling, no one ever gets it fucking right.
I know.
But you know, I like... three parts during that story, I realized that happened in front of me while you were telling it just now.
Yeah. Okay, we'll get to that. Go
No,
ahead.
I'm saying like you're filling in a lot of stuff
yeah.
that's
I
made
got
me
it.
really nervous. So
Well, during this time was when I was still with Bingo because you were like, I'm going to be
I had to
gone.
leave short.
I'm going to leave and go. You'll
Oh,
be
shit,
all right
that's
by
right.
yourself. And I was all right. But luckily, you guys had drunkenly somehow sent Jenny over there via cab or some sort
oh,
of
fuck,
fucking
the cab,
weird thing.
The cab. Check this out. We need to get Jenny over to the hospital because he's gonna be super
Hang on,
early.
Let me back up. That night, we're doing graveyard. We're doing 9 to 9. Jenny's comes in like 9 to 1, but she has to work the next day. So you go get back
Go
to the
get some
hotel and
rest.
get some sleep. But Jenny just sat with them and stayed up all night.
Yeah.
Came back out when I was showing up. Put her in a cab.
Well, we got to get a cab, right? So we go out there. I'm like, do we get an Uber? Do we get a cab? 2 cabs pull up, right in front of the fucking thing, out of the
Yeah.
blue at like what's
It's not out of the blue. It's 5:30 in the morning. People leave hotels early to go to work.
But they call a hotel. We're not near the airport. I go to the first cab and I said, hey, are you here for someone? Yeah, we're here for someone. Go to the next one. He goes like, no, I'm not here for anyone. I'm like, what?
Just showing up.
It just worked out really well. It was one of those weird things like,
And then
'cause
he was-
I didn't know a cab company in this town.
And then he was incredibly disappointed when he got a fare that was 100 yards away from the hotel.
I over tipped him because I knew how far it was. Yeah.
Well, Jenny, she did the first 4 hours. She walked in there. Jenny's a nurse. She does this shit anyway. So, and I forget until like she walks over. She doesn't ask about C. diff. She just starts smocking up and rubber gloving. She'd never been there. She goes in. She's dealing with Bingo, helping her maneuver, getting her up and out of bed, and the tubes and wires. And meanwhile, you're like trying to figure out if your rubber gloves are lefty or righty.
Well, I was still confused because I was like, I wanted to bring my iPad to read books if she was asleep because I didn't know what to expect at all. So I'm like, well, I can read, books on my iPad while I'm waiting. But I'm like, oh wait, if I bring my iPad in there, it's gonna get contaminated. I can't do that. And then I
Good point.
didn't realize that we were ignoring all of those rules at that point because Stanhope was like, let me get your backpack and your jacket. And then he takes my stuff and walked right into the room and put it in the back of the room without gloving it and then just walked back out. And then we glove and gown up like it now means something.
Well, because we're going to touch her was the thing. But at first, when they explained this to me, I'm thinking it's like the hot zone. Like, there's a hole in my suit.
That's how I was. I was over paranoid. I had no idea what to expect. Jenny knew what was up. I should have asked Jenny, but I didn't know. I was like, okay. I'm suicidal. I don't give a fuck if I get C. diff.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
The thing is cause I was there like right when it happened, and then that night you guys were talking about it, there was a big span of when I was actually there because I'm more behind the scenes guy. I'm running around, and when I got there, I was shocked with like the protocol to walk in the room because I was doing it. I'm like, am I tying these knots right? Is this tight enough on you? What do we?
Sorry,
Oh,
Florida
you're right.
just fucking gagging me out, man.
I get the same.
That's all
parts.
you. That's
it's a
all
night
you.
shift. When they first told me I'm over paranoid, but they hadn't explained it to me correctly or dumb enough where I thought that she had something where we could give her something. We're suiting up because
Me too.
her immune
Yes.
system
Yeah.
Well,
was
and I think
low.
that's part of it. Right.
Okay, well, so that was the first day, and I leaned in, and she just was she's restrained at that point because she was too delirious to not pull the tubes out of her nose. So she has restraints on the side of the beds with her wrists. So I leaned in so she could touch my face with the back of her hand, and then I ran. I'm like, oh shit. She touched my face, and I'm walking out with my C. diff gloves and outfit, running down the hall, going,
Touch
shit,
me!
yeah,
He touched me.
yeah, she touched me, and they go, oh, well, just go take this off, and then go just wash your face, and I'm still not catching on.
With what? Acid?
Well, because when I'm dumb, I'm really dumb. So they go, just wash your face, like if you want her to touch it. I mean, that's what I'm thinking. So I go back. I still don't know that I'm not. at some point it occurred to me, oh, this is not about her at all. This is about me. I'm supposed to be protecting myself from her. I thought she touched my face, and now she's going to break out in some boily rash and die. Because I was worried that if you want no bacteria in the room, I'm the last guy you call.
Yeah. That jacket would have to be checked at the door.
Yeah, I'm fucking Typhoid Mary if I'm coming in there. They're going to blame me. I was already fighting off a cold.
So Tuesday afternoon.
Well, we're still on.
Yeah, we're going to radio.
Yeah, okay.
We're
Tuesday
done-
morning.
we're done with radio.
That. Jenny comes over, helps me with bingo. Kelly comes over and leaves me. I come back over and meet up with you guys.
Decide to stay.
And
Jenny goes.
Jenny goes home, and I decide to stay to pull another night shift with you. And we're gonna go to bed.
And
was
I
the plan.
only remember any of this because I just looked back at my phone and I saw a picture of me from up in our room on the 5th floor, looking down and seeing everyone but me down there. So I assumed I took the picture.
Okay.
That's where
we got to speed this up because we're going to have to do early night shift.
What?
We don't, yeah.
Who?
Yeah. Well,
What?
some of us. Whoever get. Well, you guys can say. Chad and Jenny and I.
I don't know which part how much of the story we want to tell. I'm just.
All right. It starts with this. The drinking is going to continue after that. The bar at the Aloft Hotel, props to you for having me as a family. Clay and Ian, the bartenders. Bar doesn't open till 4. We're drinking early. We start playing pool. They have a pool table out there.
Oh,
that
yeah.
poor bar, just to say, hired fucking extra bartenders thinking that something was happening. I think it was based on their numbers. They're gonna have a fucking rude fucking disappointment next month because they're gonna have a spike in their numbers for the
And
time you stay.
This will
they
be-
had UA and ASU tonight. It will not match what happened last
I'm
week.
sorry, I didn't mean to get off track.
Yeah, this will be the biggest bar tab I have ever had, and you're checking out of there because you're staying. I can't. The hotel tab, because it wasn't just my room for 2 weeks. It was other rooms, rooms I didn't even need. We'll get to that.
The room you angrily bought and they wouldn't refund you an hour later.
Yeah,
I just found out about that
yeah.
because I was telling you, why
Alex,
is he so
Alex
mad?
will get fired.
Why is he so mad? Why is he so mad?
Hey, all right, we're so way off the top.
All right. In order.
Tuesday,
Playing pool
We start
during the
playing
day.
pool.
Can I get some ice and
Is
some
it-
because this is gonna be about me.
I was ready to go to bed, and then somebody had a bump of blow, and I was like, all right, now I'm awake.
Yeah.
And that's when it was the first mistake, and then I stayed partying, and
Yeah.
it went fucking south.
Mistake. Good idea. Potato.
Listen, I had a fantastic time. I don't remember any of it, but I had a fantastic time.
Around 1 o'clock, I
PM?
decide
PM.
after Chaille and I were outside crying because I'm singing so far away to him.
Oh shit.
He's out on the front sidewalk on one of those big concrete orbs they have out there to be all IKEA and hip.
Target.
So, so he's sitting out there crying, and I went out to make him cry worse. So I'm singing "So Far Away" by Carole King, and I'm drunk, so I can pull it up. But I'm selling it so well that I start crying, and then we start hugging. Then we bet $100 on a pool game, partners.
Yeah.
And somehow we were team captains, and we picked teams. And you picked Chaille, and I picked Tracey, and somehow
Good move, by the way. Good
Tracey
move.
and I won, but I gave his 100 to you, even though you guys were on the same team.
Yeah, I tried to argue it. It didn't make any sense to me, but we were pretty drunk, and someone was giving me $100, so
Wait,
I didn't argue hard.
Did someone give Tracey the other 100?
No?
No, I took
Motherfucker.
it. She was a worker. This was between team captains of night shift. This was before Tracy.
That's not the way it
So
should
then
have
after
happened.
that, you went to bed.
I
Hold on,
decided,
by the
yeah,
way.
I better get some sleep. So about 3:40.
Well, when you went to bed, we continued to drink in the lobby and play pool and cry.
4 p.m.
Until we drunkenly realized the bar was open at 4 p.m.
which that
Hey,
was
time
that
to
was
start drinking.
that was their mistake.
Yeah.
Because at one point I looked down and I had two vodka martinis and a beer, and I was buying the other guy, some guy in front of us,
Yep.
and then Chad, and then we took the appetizer menu in hand and fucking went to town.
Chaille went
remember,
nuts.
Chad and I have been awake since the day before.
So have
and
I.
Done night shift. Well, that.
Not in a hospital room.
Oh, that's right, because you had scored that Coke the night before.
No. 2 nights.
Oh,
before.
2 nights before.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, you left it there in my room.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Yeah, you're. All right, let's go over all your embarrassments.
That's not an embarrassment.
Hang on, no, don't.
I don't drive with drugs.
That's
I
good.
had to drive home.
But you
and I
store
came-
them in my room when I don't know you're coming back.
You didn't know, and no one would ever know where it was. But when we got back there,
Hang
it
on,
was game on.
Let me just try to get through this. One of the nights I come home we have 2 doctors that are friends of ours that work in this community that have been spearheading the hey, let's save bingo thing, knowing what doctors are good, what are bad, who to believe, who to not believe, who doesn't, do their legwork, and they're doing all this legwork. So I come home with one of our doctor friends to the hotel, to the bar. It's 10 o'clock at night, just left the hospital, and I'm talking to her at the bar about, okay, this is what's going on with bingo. This is what they're saying, but this is what they should be doing. And we're having this conversation. It's 10 at night, and Chaille's already fucking hammered at the hotel. So he's like, Tasmanian devil, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, I'm having a conversation here. He's like, nah, what the fuck that? Who's drinking what? He's just out of his tit. And then by midnight, he's like scoring blow. I mean, you were already fucked up.
To do that.
Well, I joined in with him that night. By 4:30 in the morning, we're slapping each other in the face. Hi, Ma, come on out. It's just chaos. Hennigan shows up at 3 in the morning. He drove 11 hours from L.A. in horrible traffic. Have a seat. So, cut to this night. He still has that left over. So I go to bed. I was like 1 o'clock in the afternoon. I'd been up since the day before. I go, we're going to have to do night shift again. Let's get some sleep. I thought you went back to your hotel room. You did
Which
not.
I should have done.
Yeah. Tracey comes in so drunk. She crawls into my bed, starts taking off her shoes, trying to throw them off the bed, and they're landing on me, even though she's beside me. And I'm so delirious. I'd only slept 3 hours. I'd been up for so long that I thought maybe there's other people that are staying in our room that we...
Well, wait a minute. Whose bed?
Hang on. My bed... We have a room with 2 beds. The Chailles are in one bed. I'm in the other. But I'd only been asleep for 3 hours in the afternoon. So I think maybe it makes sense why she would be staying in my bed. I'm not putting it together. And then I get a call from Kelly, and she's trying to explain this whole aspiration thing. And well, they say she well, not what's it called?
Yeah,
Intubation.
Yeah. No, you had
Fluid
it.
in the lungs.
Aspiration.
Oh, aspiration.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the
yeah.
aspirations.
Yeah.
And Tracey by now has figured out she was in the wrong bed, goes into her bed, and she's yelling about, look at how many friends I have. I have no idea. And I'm like, I'm on the phone. It's about bingo. And she's not, I don't realize how drunk she is, but she's just yelling over. And I'm like, this is serious. And now I'm pissed. And so I just storm out of the room. I go, I'll call you back. And I'm like, fuck this. Sorry, Mom's now here, so I have to tone down the F words. So I'm like, fuck this. And I'm getting my own goddamn room. I can't, you guys are still up. I said, I go, Chad's in bed at least. And she goes, nope. And I'm like, God damn it. We gotta go back to do night shift. And I go down, I'm getting my own room. And I don't even have shoes on. Like, give me another goddamn room. So I get my other room, and then I go, this doesn't work because all my stuff is still in there. I don't have my shoes. I don't have my phone. And then Chaile's like, "What's up?" And I just give Chaille the finger. Like, this is not a time for you guys to go on a 24-hour bender, you assholes. So I sit down at the bar. I got to get some food before I go, suit up. And Chaille starts throwing pretzels.
I was trying to tell Chaille at that. I was like, he's mad. Leave him alone. He's mad. What's he mad at?
I remember that.
And I didn't want to tell him he's mad at Tracey because you had told me that you were mad at Tracey, but I didn't want to tell Chaille he was mad at Tracey because Chaille, we would been crying drunk at the bar already. So I'm not trying to fucking upset Chaille at this point. So I'm like, he's
But he
just
wouldn't
upset.
stop.
He's upset, and Chaille's just throwing pretzels at you from across the bar.
So I go up to get shoes and my phone, and Tracey is in bed with just like she is now, laying on her side with her your
Kindle.
Kindle, and no, it was. I have a picture of it. I have a.
All right.
It was a cell
With her
phone
device.
with her device on her side, but she's not being loud anymore. And then I have to look over, kind of like sometimes you have to make sure Bingo isn't dead when she sleeps too long. And I look over, she's dead asleep, but her thumb is on the button. It was like, the when Pompeii,
They're reaching out.
they have the people under
She's
the lava
embracing
rock.
her phone.
Yeah.
A Pompeii reference.
Then I go back down, and I've gotten over my initial anger. Okay, you're drunk. It doesn't matter. Chad can power through. I know that, and you don't have to be there. We don't need you. But you're still so drunk that now it's like 4:30 in the afternoon.
Yeah, it's later.
And this band comes in to check into the hotel, and they're obviously a band because it's like
Clearly.
like 6 white guys with a white panel van dragging a trailer, and they have tattoos on their faces, and they have hoodies,
black
giant
cargo
beards.
shorts with boots.
With
dreadlocks.
humongous bags that clearly have more than just clothes in them.
So Chad Shank, it's a small. You were at the Aloft bar. It's a small
The bar, the bar is the hotel lobby.
Yeah, it's a hipster lobby. And Chad goes, "Are you guys like in a band, or are you just like regular guys?" And they're like, "We're just regular guys." They're dealing with last call drunks at 4:30 in the afternoon.
I was playing to Chaille only at that point. I was an obnoxious
I think I probably
asshole.
egged you on at that point.
We
I'm like,
had
no,
already,
you should ask
We
them.
had talked about
They
this.
are someone.
I was
you
an
need to go talk to
obnoxious
them.
asshole to only the entertainment of Chaille. Everybody else was mad at me, and I knew that, and I did not care.
There's 3 people at the bar. The 2 of them at the far end of the bar. I'm at the other end of the bar, staying away from them because I don't want to be around Chaille. I want to ignore them. And then when they go, "Are you just regular guys, or are you in a band?" I'm like, "Oh my God." And then they won't let it go. And then Chaille's like, "No way, they're in a band." So he goes out to talk to the tour
fix this.
manager. I was so embarrassed that I didn't even walk away to the elevator because I would have to go between them. I went out through the pool area patio and then through the back exit to get to my room to get
You
away.
were embarrassed.
Yeah.
Isn't that shocking?
If you think that was an accident, you think wrong. I am a diplomat on meta levels, and I knew the only way to get Stanhope from being pissed off at Chaille was to fucking make him pissed off at everybody and then make him laugh. So...
But there was another guy there who's like a defense worker or
Yeah, we had already.
Yeah.
That was my first diplomatic move. Was introducing myself loudly to the guy next to me and start because I knew that's what Stanhope would do when he was obnoxious. So I was being obnoxious because I knew Stanhope was sober and had just woke up and hated all of us.
and hated us
so I was
and
being
was ignoring
Stanhope.
us.
Yeah, I was trying to just be Stanhope till he could fucking realize that.
At that point, I thought you were you were trying to play some con on him, and I'm already staying at the other end of the bar.
Nice.
And I told you at the elevator, I go, "No, I was trying to like." He doesn't.
There was a
know
tete-a-tete
I'm
at
with
the
you,
elevator?
so I can play. We can do some good cop, bad cop,
that's
like
right,
pigeon
that's right.
drop kind of.
That's right.
Scam.
Again, Once again, I was drawing you over because once I had you laughing with Chaille and I, you were not going to be mad at Chaille. You were only mad at Chaille because you were mad at Tracey. So it didn't make any sense.
Yeah, that did make sense
So
to
I
me.
knew I
Well,
could
the
fix
point
it
is,
easily.
yeah, Chaille's supposed to be the on the ground point guy that can run errands for the family, and now he's shit faced on a 24-hour
Times of high
bender throwing
stress.
On and
pretzels
off
at me.
night.
Hey, listen, times of high stress.
He's done
involved.
pretty darn good.
Yeah.
There you go. I didn't even know you had a mic, Ma.
That's right.
All right, let me just rush through some other notes.
Okay.
As it ended up,
Wait,
it
wait.
was a DJ.
All right, yes. Let's,
None of us can
okay.
even
All right,
find.
hang on, we're going to get through this, Chaille.
None of us can
I
find
know
him
that part's
online.
not even funny, but the
Yeah.
next part's hilarious.
Go ahead.
Because Chaille said, meet me back upstairs
Oh shit!
in the room.
Oh! All right.
You
here
can
we go.
stop. Go to your
No, wait,
list.
Mom
Go,
needs
no,
to
you're
hear
right.
this.
Go to the list.
So,
Go to your list.
So Chaille tells Chad,
All the ladies
Chad-
need to leave.
Chad has been up for
All night,
24
next day.
next day,
36
next
hours,
night.
like.
And
yeah.
Chaille says, "Hey, if you want to do a bump, come up to the room." That's cocaine talk. And Chad's like, "Yeah, we're gonna do a all-nighter."
Sounds like a good plan. I'll do that.
See, Ma kind of blushes at the cocaine, but we've been taking like half Adderalls
Medicinally.
to stay up for these night shifts.
That's
Nobody's
amphetamine, by the
abusing
way.
drugs. It's medicinally.
Yeah, no, that's a prescribed drug for attention deficit.
That's
that
all I
helps
tried
keeps
to
you
prescribe.
up.
Helps you focus, which we have problems with anyway.
Yeah, in the 70s, you could do cocaine off of a mirrored table and at a Studio 54, no one blinks an eye.
So
Now you can take an Adderall at the bar. Hey, I got to be up all night. I'm going to take an Adderall. No one bats
we
an eye.
did that at the bar that same night we're talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah. So go ahead.
So
tell Ma the story.
Chaille says, "I got a bump upstairs. Come upstairs." Stanhope, I get the situation calmed down so that Stanhope goes over and tries to cancel his other room because he realizes he's not as mad as he was earlier. So I'm gonna
Yeah,
cancel
I
the
changed
room.
my mind. Is it too late? And
Yeah.
they said yes. You
Yeah.
motherfucker.
Like an
Yes, it's
hour,
too late.
like
How
an
much
hour
I spent
later.
there?
Yeah, that was wrong. Anyways, I decide, I'm like, well, I'm just going to follow Chaille. I'm going to go upstairs now. So I go upstairs and I walk up to the room and the door is barred, which when you go to
Bolted open, so you
when you
don't
go
have
to when
use
when
a key.
Stanhope goes to the motel room when we're partying in there, he always bolts it open. So I know. So
Allegedly.
well, you have to know which room he's in, and I'm going to be there anyway. So don't fucking worry about that. So I push it in. I push the door open and I walk inside, and I walk upon Chaille and Tracey in a compromising position.
Really?
They were in some act of Congress.
I'm not even sure
Hold on a
which it
second.
was.
Why does this always blow right at my?
I have to tell you right now. I don't remember that, Chad. But I have bruises on my body.
Well,
Hey, hang on, just-
hold on.
Chaille,
I'm getting
Chaille,
there.
you got to stop talking now.
So-
Let us tell the story.
So I immediately walked in, and as soon as I got past the point of no return where I can see the beds, I realized that I've made a horrible mistake.
So did we.
Well, and I believe I mentioned the only time, I'm like, only I have the worst luck where I walk in on a naked Chaille and Tracey, and I only see Chaille naked. I mean, it could have been, at least I could have fucking caught a glimpse of Tracey naked. That would have been better, I guess. But I'm like, I just fucking walked in on Chaille's butt naked. So let me go. And I go, sorry, guys, I only came in because the door was barred. I'm apologizing profusely, and I start to head to the door, and I'm like, I'm going to unbar the door and leave. I apologize. And then Tracey says, hold on, I have to go to the bathroom. And so I said, what does that have to do with me? But mind you, the only reason I came up was to do a bump of cocaine. And if
That
you've
Chaille
ever
invited
went
you to do.
anywhere if you've ever went anywhere to do a bump of cocaine, hold on, I have to go to the bathroom is an invite to hang on because there is probably going to be a bump. Because I'm like, what is it? That has nothing to do with me. So should I go? Wait. So I wait by the door. Tracey goes into the bathroom. Chaille starts hollering, and I walk over around the side, and I see that when Tracey left, Chaille rolled off the bed in between the bed and the wall of the motel room.
The crevasse.
where he's stuck, which is.
But that's where he stores all his luggage. So he's on top of his bed.
That's an easy fix. So I grab Chaille and I pull him, but I realize when he starts yelling like he's in pain, that he can't get out. So I have to start pulling backpacks and bags that are what's wedging.
I am wedged in.
Naked Chaille.
No, totally naked. And I have bruises. Like for the last 2 days, I've tried to run it with the bruises on some of my heads. I have abrasions on both forearms. And
this is as bad as Bingo. You're going to see him naked.
And there's these things on my legs that I don't know what they are. They're like braces, abrasions.
Abrasions.
Bruises.
Good word.
All right. That's the gin talking.
All right.
But honestly, for 2 days, I'm like, Tracey, why does my head hurt? And she was like, I don't know. And then I just thought of like, did Chad manhandle me out of that corner?
I did.
Can I sue Chad for being too rough? You did nothing. You were a friend.
Oh.
And when this is my faulty memory. I'm wasted. I fell into the crevasse. Tracey calls it the crack. I'll push you back in the crack. That's what she says. When I said I can't, like when I started yelling, you pulled those things like a first responder, like backpacks and like pant legs were like they were flying out of the air, and then you grabbed me, you cradled me in your arms,
Gently.
Saved you.
and you
So
got me to
that
safety.
night, we're still at UMC. We're doing night shift that night.
Yeah.
Now we're disheveled. Chad, you weren't wearing your hat, and your hair had come out of the ponytail, so it's spreading. It was like Trump. If you can imagine how Trump wakes up.
Wait, with his hair back in a ponytail?
No, it's coming out. It's coming out of
no
his
way.
Blade.
Yeah, it's coming
just
out
like-
of its normal form, and it's
like
we're
the
falling
Lion
apart.
King.
We're trying our best, and at some point in the middle of the night, we start getting tweets or Chaille was tweeting. I don't remember. I lost the last 30 hours or 20 hours. I don't know what happened. I've lost the last 20 hours, and I went back into the loop that we tell Bingo. Don't worry, you hit your head real hard.
It still
This is all
hurts. I can touch it right
temporary.
now. It still hurts.
Oh my goodness.
Bingo, we try to keep a log of things that Bingo has said as she's coming out. Because not only was she coming out of a coma and all these problems, she was also, we realized, having a psychotic episode while she's trached before the trach that she could talk. She couldn't talk. She could mumble, but she had those distant, faraway, dead fish eyes, and she's sketchy.
Yeah, that's what I was saying earlier. She, on a regular basis, people there's times when your head gets the best of you, and that's when everybody else knows it. But on a regular basis, you have to have a certain amount of cognition to deal with your own head, and she does that very well. And now she's having to deal with her own head without having that same cognition.
And without being able to speak.
Right.
That was the thing.
Once she started being able to speak, like at one point she was just saying like a lot of nonsense stuff, enough you could occasionally know what she needed, but then she, like at one point she blurted out Sax underpants. And then with her, like, she was specifically Sax underpants, which Mom, hey, you know what? Take credit right here for a unofficial sponsor from the early days of the podcast. I got my first pair of Sax underpants as a Christmas present from Mom. She sent me.
That's where that originated.
Yep,
Huh?
she is. Yep.
Actually, Mom's wearing them now.
And then she was
Sax
pissed off.
underwear. Even Mom wears them.
Say it into the mic. You should talk.
I was ticked off because I was planning on giving you underwear, Sax underwear.
Because
for
I loved
every
him so
birthday
much.
and every Christmas.
You finally found a gift for Doug.
Yeah, He wanted. And then Sax Underwear sends him a whole box full.
Thanks, Sax Underpants, for ruining Mom's day.
If you still want to send underwear, send them in larger sizes. I'll wear them.
Sax Underpants. They hold your balls real firm. So Bingo, out of the blue, she says a bunch of stuff, but Sax Underpants was so completely random that...
Wait, what? Why did that happen?
well, we were night shift.
Well, that was the night that she was just up the entire night. She was, I knew she wanted, she was rocking, she was agitated. I knew she was having head problems.
But we've
on top
talked
of
about
her
that of
head
like
problems.
suggestions from something that's happening or what you would see. That's
Shush.
fucking weird.
Shush. We're trying to wrap this up.
Wrap it up. Listen, the
we're-
fact that you would say Sax Underpants,
What?
were you showing your
One of the
underpants
things,
there?
Listen,
one of the things she said to me,
hey,
when
Monday Night Chaille.
I knew, I enjoyed.
Jenny's got my mic. I'm done.
I enjoyed knowing
drop
that
it.
her cognition was still there whenever her sense of humor was there, because at one point when she was we talk about just stuff she would say, she was fidgeting around and like she was trying to go somewhere off the bed, and I grabbed her and we're like, where do you need to go? You know, and then she wants to talk, and I hold her blowhole, and she very earnestly says, "Up your butt." Which, so then I'm like,
Well,
because she's just agitated and she doesn't need to go anywhere, and she's mad at me because I'm asking her where she needs to go. You know,
And she's able to talk again for the first time. The
Right.
first time was, I got to get up to pee. Those were her first words, and we celebrated that night. Oh, she's jumped up. She hasn't said a word, and I got to pee. And we celebrated. Ma and I, Mom's having signature cocktails at the Aloft bar, and we were having a great time.
One.
Then that's when it turned bad with the C. diff and then the trach hole. But now she can talk through the trach, and she's saying anything she can. Ma, what was the first thing she said to you?
Oh, she said, "Hi, Mom. You suck."
She told her sister to fuck off. She's told us to fuck off several times. All of us.
Well, that was, whenever I asked her, where are you trying to go? And she goes, "Up your butt." And I told her, I looked and I go, "Well, wait till Stanhope goes on a smoke break, because he doesn't know we do butt stuff when he's gone." And she smiled at me, and I'm just like, all right, see, that's what I know that she's fucking in there.
They come in the morning. Well, that night she was, she said, "Put it to me."
Yes.
Like give it to me straight. Put it to me.
Okay, put it to me. Yep.
Am I gonna be retarded? As she was coming in and out. This is as she's coming out of a psychotic episode, and she was saying, "I go, don't worry. It seems serious because you have all these machines around you and these people that keep bothering you. It's not that serious. It seems serious." I go, "It's all temporary. Listen, you hit your head real hard. You have some brain trauma. It's not permanent." She goes, "But it can be."
Oh.
And you go, "Well, if you realize that brain damage can be permanent, then you're probably not that brain
You're
damaged."
probably above
Yes,
that.
that's true.
Yeah.
Your first actual response when she asked you if you
About this, she goes,
Yeah.
"Am I gonna be retarded?"
I don't remember exactly. Do you remember what you said?
I said, "No, if you were going to be permanently retarded, I wouldn't be here. I'd be long gone by now."
And she smiled and knew that you were joking with her. And
And that's tough. I'll
those are
talk to
good.
Ma on this while you refill her. Are you doing eggnog or are you doing Bailey's? Good. She'll get you. No, just eggnog. Just a small one.
No, I'm done.
Okay, but with like even with the nurses, where you go, I have to explain to them. Like a lot of times, I'll talk like the kind of baby talk shit you do just as a couple when no one else is around, and little goofy things that we do. And when she wasn't able to respond, then I'd have to stop because you'd make her smile, and she recognizes it. Warm it up, Chris. I'm about to. This silly shit, and then I have to explain to the family and nurses that are around me. This is just a thing we do. They're acting like
These are positive steps. She
I'm
remembers
riffing. They look
important
at
things.
me like I'm riffing ridiculous stuff. I'm Amy Bingaman. Hi, this is Amy Butter Cheeks Bingaman. Like, this is stuff from the podcast he wouldn't understand, but they're looking at me like I'm the complete dildo.
No, you would tell, God damn you, Bingaman, and she would hold her fist up and shake her fist.
Bingaman! You've seen that, Ma. We do that. Bingaman, what have you gone and done this time, Bingaman?
Or be adorable.
Be adorable, and she always does it. That's back from her old bald crazy days. And she goes, I'm just a little girl, kind of, these little hand gesture things.
She's got it.
Yeah, but when she couldn't respond, other than smiling, then it's just me and a group of people that don't know me. But yeah, she's had some doozies. But this morning, let's cut because we got to go take over this was our night off. But
wraps it up.
I don't want a night off anyway. Robin's gonna take the hard part, the late part. They come in every morning and they'll just to check her brain cognitive skills. What's your name? What year is it? What day of the week? So the first time at UMC,
she's doing good at that now, though.
Oh yeah, she nailed it yesterday.
The first time I watched it was.
The first time she had no idea what year it is. Not that she would have before she fell. And what month? Nothing. And
it was up to
what's your name?
Yes.
That's how bad she was at that point. She said bingo, and they go, "What's your first name?" It's real pretty, Amy Bingaman.
Yeah.
And then, do you know where you are? She got hospital, right?
The date is no.
Nothing after that. They go, what's the day of the week? What month is it? And they go, and what year is it? Just farted so incredibly, and then
grinned.
Turned to me with those dead eyes and smiled. We gave her a fist bump.
I was in the corner laughing my ass. Night shift is probably a bit different, Mom.
And then there was one more easy question that she said turquoise was her answer. What year is it turquoise? It was like that.
But we had just got done talking about what color is her
trach
tube, in which it happens to be at the same color as her hair.
Yeah, she thought she was going to have that forever, and she wanted her and Gretchen to bedazzle it. She went, if I'm going to have this, I want to dress it up. I go, you mean bedazzle it? She goes, yeah. I go, no, it's not going to be in there that long. So now, hang on. Oh, thank you, everyone. I had a bunch of friends call and leave her voice messages because now that she is somewhat cohesive, her memory is just minute to minute. So instead of Stern played her stuff on the radio, and Johnny Depp when she first was coming out of a coma, making her first words before the trach. Johnny called, and I put her on speakerphone, and then I'd say, hey, do you remember when Johnny called you? No. So now I have people leaving voice messages so I can just replay them for her. So I got, Manson gave me the idea, and Kreischer, and the Sal and Quinn from the Jokers, and Brendan Walsh left some doozies. A bunch of people have called and left messages. So now I can replay them. Thank you, everyone I asked to do that did that. And so, yeah, she lights up like a Christmas tree when you play those. And, I'm star fucking a little bit because when I play those in front of staff, like the first time you were there, Ma, where Blake was the guy's name. He's like, how does she know all these people? Yeah. Well, you know what? If they think that all these people know her, they step up their game, and you're going to get a better quality health care.
I like somebody had asked me when we were in there, well, who are you guys here? Well, I'm her husband, and she's her bodyguard. And she just looked at me like, what the fuck? Didn't help it didn't help when I was pulling door guard on the door later.
But that was great. At some point, because at UMC it's a student hospital. You have residents, so They're coming in because they're learning to do their job, but they're also bothering Bingo when she's
For no
finally
reason.
asleep. We got to get blood sugar. Really, you have to do that. There's one person every 2 hours. Like, let her fucking sleep.
Jenny was the one who told me. She was like, "You can refuse most of that stuff if it's not necessary." So I'm like, "I'm doorman. I can fucking turn people around." She's sleeping. What do you need? What are you here for?
He did. He was just working the door at you.
Because the first night the doctor came in and he buffaloed me because he was like, "I'm Dr. So-and-so from the trauma unit. How's everything been going?" And we're like, "Oh, everything's been going all right." And she finally went to sleep. And then he's like, "How are you doing?" Wakes her up. And then we're going to be keeping an eye on you. And and then he leaves. And I'm like, "You motherfucker." That's...
But Jenny
was
says,
unnecessary.
you don't have to do that.
But Jenny informed me that you can refuse all of that stuff, and so anytime anybody would come, like, "Wait, what are you doing? How much of it's necessary? All right, go get that done. Don't wake her up."
Jenny's tight. Jenny, you're on top of your shit.
Yeah,
it was nice having you.
Well, it's good.
Yeah, I got some other stuff, but blah blah. I'm looking at notes. Oh yeah. After I played her the first round of voicemails. She was really spry last night, or night before last. Sorry. No, it was last night. Yeah, afterwards I said, "Hey, listen, she's still alert." I go, "While you're talkative, is there anyone you want me to call? Anyone at all that I can call you want to talk to?" And just randomly, she said, "Bill Burr." Like, of all her friends and family, I don't even know if Bill Burr has even met her. Where she pulled that out, Bill Burr. And I all right, I don't feel comfortable calling him for this. But yeah,
I'll do it.
And he's like,
You're already committed.
Yeah, he talked to her on the speakerphone.
Nice.
"I'll be better tomorrow." She was just like, all of a sudden, she didn't have anything to say.
Love
but yeah,
Bill
he
Burr
took the call.
Love Bill Burr.
All right, that's
All
a podcast. We have to go do a spontaneous early night shift.
We can close it out with "Tainted Love" to a beeping IV machine. Chaille will do that when he comes back.
Yeah, I don't know if Chaille's coming back. I think he might be butthurt again, like the night he left drunk. He just kept taking me off topic. We gotta get out of here. Rosie's there.
Emotions are sensitive.
All right.
Is that a podcast?
That's a podcast. All right. Back with more. Finger's getting better. So you hit the pause. It's the one next to it.